Hello and welcome to FRL F1 Season 18 Social Race. Let's see if we can get this done. Okay, we're gonna need a new lobby. Yay. Now, good thing is there is a patch coming in the next few days that should fix those issues, hopefully. So you won't have to go through this issue all the time. Because what's going on right now is whenever you're in a lobby and when you open the PSN menu, the game automatically kicks you out. So yeah, that's obviously not very ideal. Let's see, just let me get out some invites. God. Check, YouTube comments are going off. Yes, Scar, I am exhausted before the season has even begun. Yeah, so far we have, I think, about 27 or 28 signups. Gentlemen, if you would be so kind to send the invites in the group chats again whilst I'm doing the settings, it would be much appreciated. There you go, that's that. Assist restrictions off, on full, full automatic. That's all off. Gonna put that on 60 for the testing. Oh god, we got 10 viewers. That's a great number watching me do the bloody settings after I disconnect. Hopefully, the incoming patch will actually fix that. I think it will drop on the weekend, maybe next week. I said in the next few days, so let's see, we're gonna keep the damage off for today. Because it is still new, it's a completely new handling system and all that. And the Yeska, those signups do include JB without his time set. We are thinking about maybe even extending the sign up period. Lexi saying settings are the best. Perfect. Everybody has his preference on the stream. And they were saying the next few days are gonna be the next few months. I hope not. I really, really hope not. Otherwise we'll have to start our streams half an hour early whilst we're setting up the session. Domination saying I sound like a movie villain. That's not the first time someone says that. I've been compared with Schwarzenegger so far, with Vader. I don't know how people say that, but it's just my normal villainous Germanic nature. See, good evening, good evening. Good evening to all of you. We're going to try to get the rest of the drivers in. Let's see, let's get Unseen in here. Okay, Bobby wants an invite. And we got Savo returning out of retirement. Alleged retirement. T. Hamilton. Why are there so many names that I don't recognize? He's in the server. Is that the old Hamilton? God, he's been in the server for ages. He's a relic at this point. But yeah, we are losing some time, boys, so if we could get it hurried up, so we can start in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So we've got 14 drivers, it's looking pretty decent. Steven saying I'm Hans Gruber from Die Hard. I don't think Hans Gruber sounded like me. Okay, let's see, 14 drivers, I think that might be enough for a small social race on this Tuesday evening. So, let's go. Let's ready up, everybody. See, Ivo and Watermelon are still asking for invites. So, but we're saying it wouldn't let him join. Well, unfortunately, we already had one restart. So, yeah, we're just gonna start without you. We already have 15 drivers, so that's more than enough. And Storm is back. God, I haven't seen him in a long time. I think that's Ryan. Good evening to you. God, Mr. Storm, okay, that was... Last time I saw him was when we were trying up to set up the GHR esports team, or GHR Academy. It's like almost 4 years ago. But yeah. Let's get to the track. We're gonna have our standard sessions, short quali, and then a 50% race. Nothing too special, just a chance for drivers to show how good the racecraft is on this game, and also for me to explore the new graphics on this game, the new displays. Looking quite nice. Interesting. Let's see. We're gonna have drivers coming out. I think that's a Williams and 2 Aston Martins coming out. So let's see who that is. One of the Aston Martins is Bunty, And the Williams is Zavo, the man that has retired, deciding that retirement is not suited for him. Or he's not suited for retirement, one of the two. Let's take a look then. Warming up his tires, plenty of tires coming out on tracks, obviously all on the soft tire. Anything else would be a surprise at this point. Around Mexico, maybe not the most popular track, but I think it should suit this social event quite nicely. Still challenging enough to actually test your skill, but at the same time overtaking is very possible as Flex has joined. I hope it won't cause any issues with the lobby. It shouldn't usually, at least that wasn't a thing on the last game. So let me have a drink really quick. He's now going out on the mediums. No idea what his plan is. Maybe trying to save a set of mediums. As Zay was gonna start his lap. Let's go on board with him. Topping off at 337 kph into turn 1. Hits the apex, keeps it tight on English. Keeps it tight on the exit, doesn't cut the apex in turns 2 and 3 so much. The sausage curbs on those corners are a bit more aggressive in this game, I believe. Backing at the 100 meter board. Misses the apex for turn 4 slightly, hits it nicely for turn 5. Down to second gear for double right-hander. Oh god, that just sounds awful on the onboard. Going towards the S's. Seems to be a decent line, gets all the apexes. Now the end right here is very important, turn 11. Gets that nicely. Is it turn 11? I think it might even be 13. I'm not entirely sure. Into the stadium section. Nice run through there. Tricky braking zone for the hairpin. Looking nice here. Oh, a big wiggle on the exit of the hairpin. And for the last corner, keep it tight on the right side. He does just that. 117.2. I have no idea if that's a good lap time or not. Absolutely no clue. But he does describe himself as a bottle, so I'm just gonna say that this lap time is absolutely horrendous. Let's see what can the cars behind him do. Unseen, he's almost 8 tenths slower. Not looking too good for him, as Charlie only goes 2 tenths slower than Zabo. Bunty coming through. It looks... Ooh. So yeah, Bunty showing that Zabo was in fact on a very, very terrible lap. Good evening, JB. Nice to see you. I hope we're gonna get to the game rather soon. It does actually feel quite nice to drive the cars, if you get the lobby started eventually. Let's see who else we have. We have a McLaren coming across the line. That's Ivor up into P2, almost 7 tenths behind Bunty, followed then by I think that's a Williams. There was Adzax down in P5 and a Red Bull. That must be Renz. Up into P2, but still 4 tenths behind Bunty. Then comes a Ferrari, that's not O'Steven, that must be Ballboy then, goes up into P8, a second faster than his teammate. See, next up is an Alpine. He was right, that was Hisano on his mediums, 3.5 seconds down. And I think that's our first batch of drivers pretty much through. We got the Mercedes of guys coming. Was quite impressive last season in F2, coming in a little bit late to the season, but still impressing right out of the gates. Goes into P7, 1.5 seconds down. And I believe his teammate is coming through the stadium section right now. Again, looks like a bit of a wiggle, might just be desync though. Now through the last corner. And goes into P6. Well, good job from him. Watermelon coming across the line into P3, 6 tenths down on Bunty. Then an Alpine again, that's Texwax way down. He must have had some mistake on his lap. But yeah, so far it seems like Bunty might have actually given us a somewhat decent lap with 16.4, 4 tenths faster than anyone else. is that Bunty challenging for the FRL F1 title next season? Probably not, but we can dream. Let's see, who else do we have coming across? That was Nisano, I think, improving to P10, just 1.5 seconds behind Bunty, so that's going to be a 17.9 from him. So meanwhile, Texrax seems to be low on fuel. I don't think that's him pushing. No, certainly not. Although he is up by 11 seconds. But that's not going to be a good lap time nonetheless. Both Alpines on the mediums, no idea what they're planning. Of course, same cars that they had last season in F2. Let's see. Yeah, I was supposed to have QRT Nick alongside me today, but unfortunately, as for the last few seasons, something came up and made him unavailable. See, I think some family matter kept him away today, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. But so Steven starting another lap, still on the same softs. Not sure if those are losing grip already, I think they are. There has been a nice video about the degradation of the tires on this game, made by Alex Gillen on YouTube. Really great channel, I very much recommend that for anyone that's, interested with the in-depth stuff, how the mechanics work and all that. And now we have a three-way train forming, possibly for slipstream. Not quite sure what's going on there. As Hamilton goes into P7. And we have someone called Shiki in as well. No idea who Shiki is, but we do have a lot of new names coming to FRL. So he might just be another sign-up. I'm gonna assume it is another sign-up because he would have needed an invite. And usually only the sign-ups should have the connections to the invite channels. So I'm just gonna assume that he's a new member of FRL as well. So his first lap vote doesn't look very promising. Seems to be quite down on pace. Just gonna sort him into P15. Let's see, Texrax come into pits. Flex in the Alfa Romeo. The other Alfa Romeo. Setting his first lap time. Purple in sector 2, I'm not sure if that's legitimate. We're gonna see in a second as he goes right and somehow doesn't even validate. No idea how that could happen. Oh, and big wiggle again, and again he doesn't invalidate. Do I have... I can check the settings after this to see if I have put it on strict, as Charlie somehow manages to retire in a lobby without any damage. And it is on regular. Holy moly. Okay, that's on me, but fair enough, we'll just run with it. It is just a social race, so... nothing wrong there. Let's see, Ivo in the meantime. I think he's preparing his next lap. As we have Bunty on an outlap, just letting some cars through. Renz is on a lap. The man in P2, 4 tenths down. The sector split, he's up by half a second, so that could be a challenge for pole here. But he does have some traffic, that's an Aston Martin von him, that is Bunty. Coincidentally enough. Surely not blocking him on purpose. As Renz is coming across the line, 2 tenths faster than Bunty, and Bunty is starting his lap now. Meanwhile, Zavo, not on a good lap. He backed off, he's going to try to go for another lap. Watermelon, he's invalidated with regular corner cutting penalties. No idea how that's possible. Yes, Charlie, I noticed that as well, that corner cutting is on regular. That's my mistake, but whatever. Ah, yeah, right. That wasn't Ryan in the comments, that's Jill, Miss Parker. Nice to see you, madam. And Charlie retired because he was trying to tell me that the corner cutting was on regular. Well, I know it now. Ivo started to P2 between Bunty and Renz, only 1/10 down. Bunty, Ivo, he's up by 2/10 coming through the first sector. Let's see, second sector split up by half a second. Bunty's really showing some pace today. With the number 5, of course, famously used by Sebastian Vettel, who's not with us on the grid anymore. Oh, it makes me sad. I feel like I should be using number 5 maybe. Or I should stick to my number 15, I'm not sure. But Bunty now, beating Renz by another 2/10. So them two are just trading P1 right now. Watermelon again managed to invalidate somehow. Guys is slightly up. Cobra Bureau requested to join. Oh, guys, big sideways moment there. And I think that's him coming to the pits. Yep, that is. Gamer Banan in the meantime. I think he just finished his lap. Nissan, he's coming across the line, he's gonna improve. Up to P6, decent lap from him, only 1 second down now that he's on the softs. Let's see, I think Hamilton is gonna come across the line next. Oh no, yeah, that's... I think that's him going for another lap, yeah. As I'm gonna see if I can invite Cobra Bureau really quickly. Just bear with me. There you go. So that should give us a full grid, hopefully. Let's see, Hamilton. Yeah, he's on his lap now. So we had Texwax earlier on. He did not improve, I believe. He's judging by his position. I think he stayed where he was. Oh, as he has a big moment coming out of turn 3. Edzek, he's gonna start his lap. Nisano is on his in lap, I believe. Yep, that would be a penalty right there for cutting across the curb. But of course, no director's notes for the social race, because I simply didn't have time to create them yet. Let's see, Hamilton then finishing his lap, coming through the stadium section. And the last corner uses third gear through there. Gives the time on the exit and goes up into P5, but still 1 second slower than Bunty. So Bunty, I think he's sweating quite a lot, given that this is only a social race. But good on him, shows that he's committed and that he's willing to put in the time and the effort to improve. See Edzek coming through sector 2, I think he's the next one to finish his lap time. See what's the second sector split like. Slightly down. Doesn't look like an improvement. Might want to come in and get another set of softs, and I think that's what he's doing. And he's already pulling to the side, making space for Zabo, who's coming through to start his lap, I believe. Yep. So I'm starting his lap. Hamilton, I think, is going for it again, but he's down on his time by half a second. No, 1.5 seconds almost. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna lead him anywhere. Let's see, further down we have Flex on an out lap. We have Zabo starting his lap right now. Do we have anyone on a lap? I think that's Steven. Oh no, correction, Ball Boy on a lap. Just about matching his time. Again, fishtailing out of the stadium section. Oh, and I'm just gonna assume it's him doing that on purpose to get into the pit lane. Just sliding in there and retiring. Let's see, Edzek, he's still out on track. Who's that? Mercedes. That is Gamer Banan. But he's just starting his lap. Flex is on an out lap, so yeah, I believe Edzek will be... Actually, who's that in front of him? No, that's Zabo. Zabo will be the one finishing his lap. He's up by a 10th on his time. Oh, goes a little bit wide, but thank goodness I forgot to change the corner cutting penalty. I'm not sure if that's a legitimate purple through sector 2, but he is improving by quite a lot. Could give him P3 potentially, if he finds another few tenths in the last sector. Let's see what he can do. Nails the throttle, keeps it tight on exit. And it is gonna be not good enough for P3. But he does extend the gap between him and Hamilton in P5, so I guess that's good. Renz retires, so he's thinking that P2 is good enough for him. Flex just starting his lap, game a banana. Must have had some kind of mistake because he's going slow. Adds like a timing in the pits. Oh no, I don't even think it's in the pits, I think it was on track actually. As Texwax is coming across the line to start his lap. Steven is on a lap. And up by almost 2/10, but he is down on energy, so I don't think that is going to be a good lap from him. Let's see, who do we have? Is anybody pushing Flex? He's not on a good time. Watermelon, he's about to start his lap. Zavo just finished. I was on an out lap. Yeah, I believe it is going to be... What Texwax? Yeah, he just started his time. I think he's going to be the first one to actually finish it as well. Bit of a weave there. I think it was his teammate maybe blocking him. Or maybe they're trying to communicate and give each other a slipstream. That is a way of communicating, just weaving back and forth at each other. Not quite sure what they're doing. Let's see, Watermelon. He's on this lap now. Do we have anybody else? Ivo right behind him. We have Bunty on an out lap, Unseen on an out lap, Nisano standing still almost, trying to get a gap, but there's the Mercedes of Gamer Banan. Oh no, sorry, that's Guys. Fitting in between. Flex is doing Flex stuff. Let's see. I think it is a slipstream attempt between the two Alpines, so Lisano seemingly trying to help out his teammate get a better position, who doesn't have it set up, I believe. Meanwhile, Watermelon, I think, is going to be the first one to finish his final lap. He does actually have enough time for another lap, but I don't think he has the battery for it. Goes into P3, only 2/10 behind Bunty, so that's a good lap from him. Ivo, he invalidated, so it's not good for him. Meanwhile, Bunty in front of him just starting his lap. Zavo is coming across, but I don't think he's going to improve. Game Banan in P7, I don't think he improved in the end. See, Zavo, is he going to come? Yes, he's going to come into the pits. And I believe that is Shiki. Trying to improve his lap time. And he is improving up to P11. Flex on the vets. As I said, doing Flex stuff. Guys coming on to final corner, half a second down almost in the second sector. Can't find the time, decides to stop it. Isano up into P6, good lap from him. Texax up into P10, that's decent. See, Ivo is improving slightly, but he doesn't have the energy towards the end, I don't believe. Meanwhile, Bunty, is he improving? I didn't see, but we're gonna follow him on the last few meters. Meanwhile, Watermelon is also still pushing, so we're gonna watch him come across first. He's going to the pits. Bunty, is he improving, or is he gonna put into the pits? No, he's gonna stay out. Let's see if he can improve his time. 15.9 right now, improves to a 15.7. And Ivo spins right at the end. Where we've seen that before. McLaren spinning out of the last corner and then going in reverse across the finishing line. So, and I believe, yeah, apart from Flex, we only need Ivo to get across the line and then... Oh, he gets disqualified, that also works. Alrighty, 2.5 seconds between everybody in a mixed field between F1 and F2 drivers. I think that's quite decent actually. So just waiting for Ivo's AI then to finally come across the line and Flex to... There he goes, finally disqualified. Well, that's too bad for Ivo and Flex, because I believe that means that they're both going to start from the back of the grid now. So yeah, not the smartest thing from them to do. see. Jill was saying there's a lot of talent in an almost packed grid. Mexico is gonna be one hell of a ride, excuse the pun. Let's see, Parrot wanted to get disqualified. I'm just gonna believe him in that. Zay was saying it's his first laps around this track. I mean, P4, only 7/10 away from the GOAT in P1. That was quite decent. Charlie also, where's he? He's in P12. 17.4, still respectable lap time. Given that he hasn't done any laps around Mexico, probably doesn't have any setup as well. Oh god, my mouth is getting all fuzzy. Alrighty. Let's wait for players to check their strategy. I do not know what the norm will be, if it's gonna be like medium hard like it was in the last game, or if the softs are more durable. I believe the softs are a bit more durable in the race now compared to last game. So hopefully that will show us some more variability and some more what's the word I'm looking for? We're just gonna go with variability in the strategies that the drivers take. Certainly the AI are more different now in the tire selections at the start of the race, where some will start on medium, some on soft, some on hards. So I think the same, or I hope the same will be the case for our real-life drivers. See, as our formation lap is underway. And yes, Bunty, I know I made it regular corner cutting, I'm sorry. So Charlie says he has a setup, he just doesn't enjoy driving on pad. And then get a wheel. Let's see, here we are though, and we got a mixture of tires. We got Bunty on hards, Savo, Nissan on hards, Gamer Banana, Unseen, and guys on hards, Charlie, Borboy, Steven, Humanoid, Ivo. So it's about 1 and Flex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers on the hards, the others on mediums. So that's a nice mix up through the grid. As we have, who's it? It's not Nisano. Yeah, just mowing the lawn, not sure if that's a good warm-up strategy. And we have a Ferrari going slowly, I think it was Steven letting Borboy past and almost having Humanoid slam into the back of him. Let's see, but yeah. So different tire strategies suggests to me that nobody knows what the norm is yet, if you should start on hards and then go to the mediums, because I think that was the trend on last year's game. Or if you can actually use the mediums at the start, pull out the big gap, and then use that buffer as a defensive asset towards the end of the race. Watermelon there goes through rents and wall riding coming through the last corner, as everybody is now lining up on the grid. Already a bunch of people getting disqualified. I think Steven and Texax might have actually collided coming through the last few corners, and who's that? I think that's Nisano doing some donuts. We should not be doing that. It is only a social race, but still, we try to keep up some sort of a standard. Says the guy that put on the wrong settings. So yes, we have the last few guys lining up, a couple guys still not knowing how to park properly. And we have Flex in the very back. Coming to a standstill, a little bit more. That's good. Okay, we have 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for the first time, not yet. Now we're underway for the first time on F123. It seems that Ren's got a good start on those mediums compared to Bunty on the hard. We have an AlphaTauri of Watermelon there in the back. Already collision between Flex and Ivo, the two guys that got disqualified at the end of qualifying. Bunty still leads, hanging in there on the outside. Ren's through turn 2 on the outside, uses the grip on his medium tires, gets a position. We got Zavo and Watermelon fighting in behind. Couple guys going side by side, and I think that's Texax 1-1 coming out of turn 3. Meanwhile, though, Bunty in P2 under pressure now from Watermelon. Watermelon can't go for it. Rance, though, got the lead coming through turn 2. We have a lot of guys going side by side. We're in the background, couple guys going off track. I think that's Ivo. Oh no, that's Charlie and the McLaren having a bit of a moment. Coming through turn 5. But out in front, as Watermelon goes wide, out in front, it seems to be fairly calm so far. And again, Watermelon cutting. I know I forgot to put on the track limits, but please try to stay within them. As Bunty is defending against Watermelon, running wide himself, and Watermelon absolutely sends it coming into the hairpin in the stadium section. Bunty sees it, gives him enough space, and still gets a better drive around the outside under traction. So good driving from him. Rance in the meantime already 1.5 seconds out in front, so he's already out of the DRS window. Good start from him. As Texax and Ivo far behind everybody else in the last 2 places. Elzak and Bobby going side by side, Bobby in the Haas, which looks absolutely stunning, I gotta say. Further up, I think that's Misano and YouTube guys going side by side. Yep, Misano just looking down the inside, but can't get it done. In the height, we have Elzak and Unseen. And then Bobby as well trying to have a look. Meanwhile, Zayo and Bunty, Watermelon already got past. Bunty trying to defend against Zayo and actually going down the inside of Watermelon, almost contact, but just about pulled out in time. Texwax spinning out of turn 3. So not a good restart for him. Meanwhile, Bunty is still behind Watermelon, Zayo still in P4. And Rent still running away with the lead. See further down, more movement, let's see what's going on here. Humanoid, oh, and that Charlie spun out. I think he might have had contact with someone, potentially. Was even getting past as well. Charlie now on the back of his train. Not too far away. Ivo slowly gaining on them again as well. See, further down the midfield. Unseen and Shiki going side by side. Shiki just being pushed off track slightly there by Unseen. Further up we have, I think that's YouTube guy. Oh no, that's Game of Banana and Hamilton going side by side. As we have Misano spun around in the last corner. No idea how that happened. Unseen still on the back of Shiki trying to go for it. Around the right side now, way before turn 1 is gonna get him cleared. Is Shiki gonna fight back? Thinks about it. Can't make it happen though. On the mediums, can't use the grip. Unseen positions his car quite well. Meanwhile, Hamilton got past Game of Banana. And further up, Bunty fighting with Watermelon, trying to regain P2. Little bit of a squeeze there, a little bit of a shove and push. Luckily though, no damage in this lobby. They're still side by side, Watermelon being squeezed wide slightly, and Bunty gets a position there. Oh, but runs a bit wide going into turn 8. See, I think this battle's gonna continue. Meanwhile, Rance almost 3 seconds out in front, just profiting from all that battling in behind, costing Bunty and Watermelon time. Let's see who's that spun around. That's Ivo spun around in sector 2. Terrible start into the game for him. Zayo slowly dropping off compared to Watermelon and Bunty, and here's Hamilton now all over his back end. DRS is already enabled, so Hamilton now will try to have a go at Watermelon, at Zayo, as Watermelon is going to try to have a go at Bunty. We can see them right behind each other, going 2 by 2. Watermelon gets Bunty, and Hamilton gets Zayo with relative ease. And of course we're gonna have DRS again going down this straight, but Watermelon runs a little bit wide. Bunty, oh, that was a little bit mean there from Bunty. I think he might not be happy with Watermelon, trying to squeeze him onto the grass there. But Watermelon still keeps the position. Bunty trying the double switchback, can get him into turn 6. Forces him out wide. Hard racing between the two. I think if damage would be enabled, there might have already been a few shards of carbon fiber flying, as Hamilton is now right behind Bunty. And Bunty, I think he made a mistake or he got hit by Hamilton, I'm not quite sure, but he's dropping positions now with Pole Sider down to P7. P8, P9, and he keeps on dropping places. And he's not going full throttle, not sure if he's having some kind of problem with his pedal, potentially. Let's see, meanwhile, out in front, Watermelon still in front of Hamilton and in front of Zayo. Rance now 4 seconds in the lead. So he's just disappearing off to Narnia. So the two Mercedes, are they gonna play it smart, just slipstream each other towards that lead group? I think they are. Not much of a defense from Game Banan against his teammate. See, in behind, he's still there with flags. I believe something's going on with Bunty. I'm not quite sure why he had to retire. We're gonna probably get an answer to that in a second in the comments, or maybe on the Discord server. See, meanwhile, there's still some battling towards the front end of the midfield. Flex getting past Bauer there for P10. We're still side by side actually coming through turn 5. Bit of contact there, sending Flex right, and that's gonna allow Charlie to maybe have a look down the inside. But no, he's just waiting in behind. See Flex though, trying to have another go at Ballboy. Now into turn 8. Ballboy though carries it around the outside, and look at the train forming behind him. We got Flex, we got Charlie, we got Steven, Humanoid, Shiki, all in behind Ballboy, as Charlie, by makes a mistake, goes right, that allows Steven to get through. Meanwhile, Flex going down the inside of Ballboy now into the stadium section. Gets the move done. Very nice move from him. Ivor with another spin coming through the S's. Just terrible race for him, as we have more cars going side by side and behind. We got Shiki cutting across the track with Steven there holding up Charlie. And Nissan right behind them as well. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Bobby getting past Edzak for P9. Oh god. Watermelon pulling away from Hamilton, by the way. They were still right behind Hamilton, fighting for P3. Oh, Jesus. Oh, let's see. Bobo and Flex will now separating a bit. Flex going right again, coming through turn 5. And Bobo still in P10, holding on to that one final point, if he would give any points for this. Humanoid and Charlie going side by side in towards turn 8. Still side by side. Can Humanoid carry it around the outside? Yes, he can on those mediums. So the mediums still looking good at this point in the race, as Flex has had the spin coming through the S's and he's dropping positions. Meanwhile, up front, I think that's Ivor in the pits, and I think he might be retiring for the evening. I wouldn't put it past him, as Zabo now right behind Hamilton. Side by side with him, even before the DRS zone. And that's an easy position for him. Zabo back up into the podium places. See in behind, guys in Banan. See. Ooh. I mean, Banan did a good thing and led guys through quite easily a few laps ago, but guys seemingly having other plans, not really allowing his teammate to get through and slingshot each other towards the front. As I was on the wet tire, not quite sure why he's doing that. See, and Hamilton now actually losing time to Zabo, so Zabo on those hards, seemingly getting them into the window. No, or I think that might just be Hamilton struggling on the mediums actually, because he's just fishtailing through the S section. So it could be that he's having some problems with tire wear already, probably going too hard in the beginning, as Gavin Bernard now on his teammate. Is he gonna have a look into the stadium section? No, he doesn't, he stays behind. See further back. Bobby is still fighting with Edzak. Not close enough to make a move. What about Nisano and O'Steven? Not close enough either, but O'Steven has used up quite a lot of his energy already. As we have a spinner with Humanoid coming through sector 2. And now the two Mercedes going side by side again. And this time Gavin Banan gets a position, or does he? YouTube Guides is holding against him, both very low on energy. That's not good teamwork between them two. But Banan does get the position eventually. See further back, Nisano into Steven. Nisano just got past Steven. Fairly easy, way before turn 1. Simple move there. Meanwhile, Bobby and Edzak have caught up to the two Mercedes drivers, having very little squabble. And Rens continues to extend his lead, 4.8 seconds ahead of Watermelon now. He's just absolutely on it, but he might have to look after his tires. because Mexico historically is a track that can eat up your tires quite a lot, especially in the section that we are in right now, through those S's in Sector 2. Gotta really watch out for your front tires. Beautiful camera shot, by the way, from the helo. Oh, and that's guys there. Sorry, Game Banan with a big slide coming into the hairpin. That's another thing on this game. You can no longer run 50-50 back bias. Oh, and he loses it on traction. He loses it through the last corner under traction, and that's costing him multiple positions. Probably battling too hard with his teammate, using up his tires. And you just saw him there. You lose the back end going into the chicane, or rather the hairpin in the stadium section. That's another thing on this game. You can no longer run 50-50 back bias. You actually gotta run them about, I'd say, 58-59% to avoid rear tire locking. Meanwhile, Ivo on the wets don't really like to see that. I think he should rather just retire, you know, if he's not gonna race properly. I mean, he had some bad luck, but then again, he had plenty of spins on its own. So I don't see a point in just driving around on that, causing yellow flags everywhere, stopping drivers from overtaking each other. But anyway, Edzak now fighting guys for P5 as they come up to a lapped Ivo. Lap 9 out of 36, so almost one quarter of his race done. Bobby dropping back now in this fight for P5. Edzak though right behind the Mercedes is gonna try to go down the inside. Should be an easy move for him. But the Mercedes hangs it around the outside. Gotta give him space there, and he does. But now gets him through turns 2 and 3. Much more energy and the DRS, and potentially still with better tires on the mediums, although I suspect that they're going to start fading away fairly soon. Guys trying to have a look around the outside, but no space for him there. And I think that's P5 secured for Edzak, as Bobby, right behind the Mercedes, actually rams him. He manages to save it, but that's a bit of a push and shove for Bobby. I think you should probably give that position up there. That wasn't entirely clean. If it would have been a normal race settings, he would have definitely lost his front wing and all that, and possibly destroyed the rear wing of the Mercedes, as he's now going off track and not allowing the Mercedes back through. I think that was just a mistake from him. The Mercedes will have a chance to overtake him again coming down the start-finish straight, because Edzak is almost out of the DRS window of Bobby, but not quite. He will get DRS on the Williams on the straight. Meanwhile, ran 6 seconds out in front, still finding pace in those mediums. As Ivo just doing his stupid Ivo things, Taxwax spinning around in sector 2. And now guys right behind Bobby, completely out of energy. Trying to make something work, but not close enough. Oh, a little bit of retaliation there, hitting him in the back end, but I think it was accidental. As Bobby is struggling on corner exit. And Tex is just cutting corners. I think he's about to retire. This is pretty much the closest battle going on right now. Battle for P5, further back battle for P10, Chicky and Ballboy. Looking quite nice. Texwax does retire. And there you hear the sigh of frustration from Texwax. Clearly not happy with how his race went. But then again, it's not even pre-season, it's only a social race, so there's nothing lost really.
Hey!
As
Ben er weer.
mute him. There we go. Let's see, Bobby still under pressure from the Mercedes, but still having the DRS on Edzak. But the Mercedes seems to be a lot faster than the S18, but as soon as he pulls out, that air is just killing all his momentum. He's still gonna have a go down the inside, I believe, as That was Texvax's AI there coming out of the pits. Oh, and guys loses it but manages to just about save it. And there comes Unseen, storming through up into P7. As Bobo and Nisano are battling, Bobo had to fall back behind Shiki. Lost touch with him and now Nisano is pressuring him for P11. Trying to go around the outside, Bobo hangs in there down the inside. But Nisano outdrives him around the outside. Beautiful move from him. So can Bobo give him the switchback? No, he can't. Good move from Nisano. But Bobo is right there with him. But not close enough to launch an attack going into the SS. Let's see. Bobby now has been able to relieve some pressure. Now that the Mercedes is gone from behind him, so now he can focus on attack much closer on this lap. This might be an attack coming at the end of the straight. Meanwhile, Hamilton is back in the DRS window of Saber, so those mediums seemingly still working for him. I guess that around lap 16, 17 is probably the point where the medium runners should come into the pits. As Edzak is defending the inside when pulling back to the outside. Probably not close enough to launch an attack. But manages to get a much better run through turns 2 and 3, and this is going to be a chance for him now. Already side by side with him coming out of the corner. He's on the outside for the next corner though, so he has to get this move done now. Still side by side and Edzak slots him behind him. Lets him through. And that's a position gain for Bobby now up into P5. See, talking about positions, let's see how many positions we gained. Bobby actually gaining 9 positions, Edzak's gaining 7. So, good start to the rest from them two. Nisano losing 6. Not quite as good. Bunty obviously having big issues. I'm not sure why exactly he left, if he was just upset or if he had some kind of issue. But yeah, so far, overall pretty decent racing. I mean, sure enough, there's no damage, so naturally drivers are gonna have a bit more contact because they can get away with it, but overall I'd say the racing is quite decent. At the very least it proves that you can actually race each other on this game. As now Edzak is gonna have another go at Bobby again. Trying to retake his position that he lost a lap ago, and does that with ease. See, and we see there on Bobby's telemetry, if you watch just on the bottom next to the gear, you can see the blue pit symbol, so that means that the pit window has opened for him on lap 14. So I think I might not be totally wrong with my prediction of lap 16 and 17 with the first 3 pit stops, as Bobby is getting past Nisano again with the assistance of DRS. And Nisano there going wide, I think also struggling slightly for tires at this point, even on the hards. And further up, Hamilton still behind Zavo. Able to close the gap, but not really close enough to launch an attack. Both on pretty much equal energy. Meanwhile, Watermelon and Renz, I think they're delivering pretty much the same lap times. Let's see, that's a 21.5 from Renz, 1.4 slower than his best lap. And Watermelon 21.8, so Ren's actually still a bit faster. I think Watermelon just lost a bit of time with coming through the last sector. Incredible how he's still able to perform on such a consistent pace on 14 lap mediums, so really strong showing from him as Zavo now gets overtaken by Hamilton with DRS, has to relinquish 3rd position. And Bobby against Edzak, Bobby trying to go around the outside, can't make it work, but will we see another switchback like we did 2 or 3 laps ago? Hits him in the back there, but killed all his momentum. Now he has to try to gain on him with the slipstream and go around the outside. Oh, and I'm willing to believe that he tried to just duck down the inside and just misjudged it massively. But I would also not take it out of consideration to say that this might have been on purpose and that he just wrecked Edzak. And again, Yes, it is a social race, but still we have some standards that we want to uphold. And if he has any standards, then I think Bobby should just pull over to the side of the road and let Edzak back through. Or we let Unseen serve some justice and spin Bobby around. I'm also okay with that. Yeah, that was just... That's not on. That's... I'm sorry, but that's just not on. He's already made some headlines, to say, last season, as we see Zavo and Hamilton battling for P3. Bobby has already made some headlines last season for all the wrong reasons, and to see him do that now, in the very first race, in the league, on the game, that's just not a good look for him at all. As Edzak is now coming to the pits to get fresh hearts. But yeah, that was just... I do also encourage all drivers to record the race and send it to the stewards, just so our stewards can get some practice in when it comes to giving out penalties for this season, as I think Flex has spun around. Yep. But yeah, that was just... That was not nice to see. Not at all. Let's see. Meanwhile, Hamilton and Zero. We're still going at it, still fighting for P3. It's a constant back and forth between them two. As Hamilton is now pulling to the inside. Getting a position again against Zero. And then we're going to see the same thing happen in reverse on the next lap. Skies is now getting past Bobby. Oh god, I think I drank a little bit too much. I actually feel like I have to go and take a wee. But I'm gonna stay strong for you. Stay on the action. Let's see, Unseen, we are dropping back behind Bobby and Guys. He cannot keep up the pace. I was saying that Bobby now struggling massively with his rear tires. I think he should come into the pits now and serve a 10-second time penalty. At the very least, for what he did with Edzak. Meanwhile, more yellow flags. I think that's Flex having another spin Rooney. So, do we see any pit stops yet? In the lead? No, we don't. Guys, there again. A lot of sliding going into the hairpin. As your tires degrade, they're gonna have more and more rear locking. So you might have to adjust your back bias throughout the race, as yeah, Bobby is coming to the pits now. And Gavin Banan spins into the pits behind him and gets reset on track. Well, that's not how you're supposed to do it. So let's watch Bobby's pit stop there. Where is he gonna come out? Meanwhile, Ivo violating the pit speed limit. Bobby's gonna come out right around Edzak. Who would have supposed? Who would have thought that? Is Edzak gonna give him some payback now? Try to keep it clean. Oh yeah. Okay, Edzak, come on. That's... I get him mad, but still this is being live streamed, and this is just ridiculous at this point. It's unfortunate that I can't actually kick any of them, but Bobby has that possession. And this is definitely going to be looked at by the stewards. And not just for practice, but to evaluate if Bobby, or to be fair at this point, even Edzak should be allowed to drive. Because I understand Edzak's frustration, but then again, you know, lead by example and all that. Meanwhile, Watermelon's in the pits, first of the front runners to pit. Zavo still behind Hamilton, still towing each other along. As Rens almost has a pit stop to those two guys. I think the pit delta here is about 21-22 seconds. Let's see, Guys now in the pit. He's gonna drop down to P10, maybe even 11, maybe even 12 behind Steven. Meanwhile, Ballboy and Isano still battling for position. A bit of a shove there from Isano against Ballboy. And Ivo finally retires out of the session. Let's see, Misano there getting some dirty air behind Ballboy coming through the S's. And Zabo is now in the pits. Interesting, Zabo on the hards pitting before the two Red Bulls on the mediums, but then again we are beyond the halfway point in this race, so they should definitely come to the pits by now. So yes, Unseen and Watermelon clear him, Unseen yet to pit of course. Shiki isn't close enough, Zabo has a nice pocket of clean air now, where you can use his outlap to maybe gain a bit of time on Hamilton. As we have another spinner and that's Guys, I believe. Yep, no idea how you managed to crash it that far down the main straight. Let's see, there are not a lot of battles going on now as we have entered the pit stop phase. Rans is getting into the pits, he should be coming out in P2 I believe, behind his teammate who is yet to make a stop. And he's going for softs actually, so let's see if that's gonna work. Let's see if the softs are actually a usable tire on this game. On the last game they weren't that recommended for the race. Personally, I feel like you could have used them if you ran some higher tire pressures, but then you gotta have the right driving style for it. But I think on this game they're gonna be much more useful in the race. As he is 4 seconds ahead of Watermelon, so Watermelon gained about 2 seconds on his outlap, that's not bad. But of course Rans now with the softs, he's just gonna drive away into the sunset. The question is if his tires will last long enough. Unseen now in the pits, Elsa's and Lisano. See, and Zavo just waiting for Hamilton to come into the pits. I guess Hamilton is going to come in this lap as well. Probably take the soft as well, seeing what his teammate did. There's Humanoid. I think Humanoid is going to get himself unlapped then. Once Hamilton pits. He might even unlap himself on track actually, looking at his pace. Oh god, I really gotta be. And Hamilton actually stays out. So, we're going to take this opportunity to make a mandatory trip to the toilet. I'll keep you on board with Hamilton, and you just catch me up on what I missed once I come back. Sounds good? Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay, and I am back. As you can see, oh, there's spinning across. I think that's guys. No idea what was going on with him. Let's see. Hamilton has pitted, and he has gone for ourselfs, and there was a big lead, or big gap to him. Let's see how that's going to play out. Meanwhile, Shiki and Edsax, they're still battling. Oh god. Guys retired in the pits. We're down to 13 drivers now. Let's see, have I missed anything important? Let me know in the chat. Oh god. Let's see, Nisano. He's having some troubles. He's fighting with Charlie there. Oh god, meanwhile I'm texting away on Discord. Charlie and Nisano battling for P9. Bobo just 2.4 seconds behind. He's gonna try to get involved in this. Hamilton already gained a second on Zavo. We're gonna see how that's gonna turn out towards the end of the race. Alright. Sorry for that. Let's see, Nissan and Charlie still batting for P9, that's still going on. Meanwhile, Hamilton making big steps towards Zavo. And as we see, for the top 3, very different strategies for all 3 drivers, and seemingly all working out kinda equally. So it's nice to see that this game actually allows you to have different strategies in the races. As Charlie now is actually gaining on Edzak, who's on 11 lap old hard. So it's going to be a 3-way fight for P8 developing. Ballboy cannot keep up with that group in front of him. Lisandro's still having a penalty. Let's see. Ooh, it's 11 seconds of penalty, so Ballboy is actually comfortably in the points right now. Lisandro's just fighting for on-track glory as Charlie is already having a look at Edzak. Surely gonna make a pass sooner rather than later, and we're gonna keep monitoring the gap between Hamilton and Zavo as well. Oh, that's Titano going down here inside of Edsax as well, and I think that's been a bit of contact there potentially. Attack now down into P10, gonna be P9 once Nisano gets all his penalties added up. But yeah, those hard tires, 12 lap old hards against 6 and 7 lap old mediums, no match at all. And Boba is actually starting to gain a little bit on attacks now as well, so that might even be another position for Ball Boy coming up. Oh, and Charlie, big wiggle, and that's him into the barrier. And why does it say that he's on pit limiter? That's very strange. Okay, now it doesn't. And that just cost Charlie all of his positions, all the work that he's been putting in over the last 3 laps, and I think he's just gonna come to the pits now and retire. Unfortunate for him, Ball Boy though, he's happy he's gaining another position, and Adzak actually, I don't know man, he is out of the DS windows, so we have no battles going on right now. Let's see, so let's just stay on board with Hamilton for now, and watch as the gap between him and Zelvo goes down bit by bit. Let's see, Game & Banana is actually gaining some time on unseen despite having 1 lap older tires. Let's see, being a bit generous with the track limits there. Charlie leaving the session. I think he can be happy though. He did have some hiccups here and there, but overall he at least had the pace to, you know, fight with the likes of Nisano and Adzak and those guys in the midfield, so it's looking decent for him. Then again, I don't think he really cares that much given that he isn't gonna race, because he announced his retirement at the end of last season. So it's just all fun and games for him at this point, which is, you know, fair enough. See, as Banan keeps on gaining a little bit here and there on unseen. That might be a battle coming up for P5, which has been a much contested position throughout this race. We saw 3-way fights, 4-way fights for this 5th position. But out in front, Renz has been in an absolute class of his own. The top 4 drivers really have been in a class of their own. Watermelon just sitting nice in 2nd as Nisano retires. Not sure why. Probably because of his penalties. Not entirely sure though. But Watermelon also doing a great job there up in P2. Very strong from him. And then Zevo and Hamilton, 2 returnees, so to say. Fighting it out for the podium places, and that's still going on with Hamilton only 4.5 seconds away from Zevo now. It's been 13 seconds just a few laps ago, so he's making big steps towards Zevo. So he had a 20.0 on the last lap. I think Zevo is somewhere between a 21.5 and maybe a 22.5 with his lap times, I would guess. As you see, already gaining 1/10 through the first sector, which is really just a braking zone and 3 small corners in between. So he's gaining big time as Game & Banana and Unseen. Unseen really dropping time to Game & Banana, and Game & Banana now getting through with DRS. And I think he's going to keep that position potentially, unless Unseen can suddenly find some more grip in those tires. Let me have another sip of my water. So that's the only battle that we had going on, slowly disintegrating. Although Unseen, he's still there. Just about. Should be getting DRS. Let's see if he can fight back. He has 2 long straights coming up. Oh, and it seems like we have 4 sound glitches again. Beautiful. Oh. So he gets up to 310s. Might be able to launch an attack coming into turn 4. He does have better EIS percentage than Game & Banane, but Game & Banane much better grip through the corners. Manages to pull out half a second. Hamilton in the meantime only 3.4 seconds behind Zero. So he just continues to gain and gain and gain and gain. So no one's seen outside of the 1 second window, and I think that's the fight for P5 done. As we are gonna have 3 more laps the next time we cross the line. And Hamilton still getting time on Zero. You can see him there in the background. And both of them are absolutely pushing their EIS to the limit. Nice to see that. Nice that people actually care about where they finish, even if it is just a social race. Let's see. Jill was saying it's a shame that this corner cutting isn't getting penalized. Yeah, I take the blame for that. I thought that I did it in the settings after the restart, but seems like I forgot in the in the panic of the moment trying to set up a new lobby. I just forgot that. Let's see, just D Jesse saying hello, hi, and Siopes, another sign up, hi, nice to see you. Jill were asking if Aftergrid will be able to complete the race. I hope so. I hope that this is not gonna that it's not gonna be like this in the actual season. See, as I think Hamilton's times are stagnating now. He's not gaining on Zero anymore. I think he just gained 2/10 last lap. So seems like after 10 laps the soft tires have met their cliff, but even then 10 laps on the softs, I don't think a lot of drivers would have been able to do that on the last game. Meanwhile, Ren's on 13 lap road softs, just sitting pretty. Absolutely great work from him, great tire management and just great pace overall. So I think he might be a very hot contender for the title potentially this season in F1. If he signs up, because I don't think he has signed up yet, at least to my knowledge. But he definitely should. Because why wouldn't you sign up to this great league with mostly clean driving? Some exceptions here and there today, but those will be taken care of. Let's see, 2.6 seconds. He is still gaining a bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to make that up in 1.5 laps. Well, it doesn't stop him from trying and deploying all his energy, even if he's at 0%. See, Shiki might have a go at Unseen, but he's also on 13 lap old soft, so I'm not sure if that's gonna be a possibility for him to gain that much time. I think the only real potential battle is that for P3, but I think Zero just about has this in the bag. Hamilton is using all his EIS coming out of every single corner, trying to gain as much time as possible. See, 1.9 seconds as we are on the final lap now. Vance is already getting towards the end of the second sector. Watermelon just at the end of the DRS straight. Savo did actually manage to catch up quite a bit to Watermelon on the better tires, but still 4 seconds. That's not gonna be any threat to Watermelon there. See, good evening, Nick. Nice to see you join towards the back end of the race. It's been quite entertaining for a lot of reasons. See, 1.7 seconds. He is gaining maybe another 2 or 3 laps, and Hamilton could have gotten Savo, but that's not gonna happen. As Rance is coming through the stadium section now, an absolutely dominant performance from him. Looking good in quali, looking perfect in the race, making the medium soft strategy work to win by over 15 seconds. Beautiful job from him. He's not gonna get any points or anything for that, but it's already a good show of force before the season. Watermelon P2, very good job from him. Managing to keep the likes of Savo and Hamilton behind him. He can be proud of that. Savo 3.6 seconds behind, finishes in P3. Hamilton on his return in P4. Good job from them too. Game of banana there in the Mercedes. After having some difficulties at the start of the race and way behind the top drivers, but still P5 nonetheless. Very good result from him. Gonna come across the line any second. When I think was that him out of view because he was flowing it through there? Didn't seem to accelerate, I'm not sure. Unseen right behind him, P6. See, Steven and Humanoid are already across the finishing line. Shiki in P7. Good debut for him. Edzak, P8. Yeah, we all know what happened between him and Bobby. Could have been more. And Ballboy P9. Decent race for him, decent recovery. And that's the social race done. There will not be any interviews, by the way, because it is only a social race, and because my voice is pretty much gone. But we will have a look at the podium celebrations, we will have a look at the lap times and at the race results. Here you see Rance lifting up the winner trophy, much deserved. Albeit just virtual trophy. We could have made the music a bit louder. But yeah, anyway. Here we see the race results. We got Rance ahead of Watermelon, Van Savo, Van Hamilton, Banan, Unseen, Shiki, Edzak, Ballboy. The only ones on the lead lap, and then with Steven and Humanoid being lapped. And then we have Nisano, Charlie, Guys, Bobby, Flex, Ivo, Texfax, and Bunty all retiring for different reasons. Bunty the only one of the retirees to not get a penalty. The overall fastest lap goes to Hamilton, actually with an 18.4. Actually with 2 Red Bulls, the only guys in the 18s. Correction, Game and Banan also with an 18.8. So yeah, overall, quite an entertaining race, I would say, for a social race. Quite a lot of drama, quite a lot of talks that will have to happen behind the scenes. But yeah, that's the social race done. As for the schedule for the next few weeks, whilst we're at it, we have the next preseason race planned for next week, Monday and Tuesday. We have to see how the sign-up situation develops with the numbers and all that. We might be pushing that back by a week to allow drivers to get their copy of the game, to allow maybe another patch to come along to stabilize the connection issues. But we will definitely have preseason coming in the next 1 or 2 weeks. And then we plan, after ideally 2 preseason races, we plan to kick off the season on a track which I will not reveal yet, because we haven't revealed the calendar yet. But it is going to be a great season on the game. I can already confirm that we plan to do 2 seasons on this game, as opposed to the 3 seasons that we did last game. So we're gonna have a bit of a longer calendar, more chances for people to maybe make a comeback if they had a bad start to the season. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Gonna be great times ahead of us for FRL. But for now, for tonight, I've been Hawk, and I'll see you around next week.